Hello, this is GeoTechland, and today I'll be talking about several different YouTube alternatives. In the past few years, YouTube has upset many content creators and users alike, whether it's been their policy on banning certain content creators or banning certain users, or in some cases, not banning certain content creators. There's also been issues with YouTube demonetizing videos and channels left and right, sometimes without any real good explanation. Of course, there's always the concerns about privacy and the general fear of relying on one giant company for video hosting. So it's left many users seeking different alternatives. So let's take a look. If you're enjoying my content, you can subscribe to me on YouTube, PeerTube, and follow me on Odyssey. You can also support me on Liberapay, Patreon, and by shopping at Earth Hero. See links in the description below. To start here, I'm actually gonna save the platforms I think are best for last. And so first up, we have BitChute. BitChute is a somewhat popular platform, and they bill themselves as a free speech alternative to YouTube. And there are some prominent figures on the platform here. You've got Sargon of Akkad, you've got Stefan Molyneux, and you've got Styx, who, FYI, blocked me on Twitter due to a reply I made to his tweet where he said something to the effect of, Facebook is funded by multi-billionaires and I'm gonna stick it to them by joining Parler, which is also funded by a multi-billionaire. That is the Mercer family. But anywho, if these are the content creators you enjoy watching, then BitChute might be for you. The platform in general tends to feature creators and users that lean towards more conservative, right-wing, or libertarian ideology. But just because it's a somewhat popular platform doesn't make it a good platform. I myself used to post videos on this platform, but I kept running into constant issues when I would try uploading. Uploads would not publish, they'd just be stuck processing for what it seemed like forever. I had to sometimes delete the video, re-upload, and try again. And I just couldn't waste all this time when there are other better platforms available. So I've not posted, and I guess I should probably delete the account too, I guess. The other thing is that in general, quality of the videos themselves seem to be pretty terrible. I don't know if they're running in 720p or not, but the videos look blurry. And even now when playing back this video, it doesn't even appear that it's displaying properly. Their interface also looks outdated, and overall I don't think it's a good platform, but it's somewhat popular, so I think it's worth a mention here. Next up, we have BitTube.tv. Now, I'm gonna admit, this platform I've never actually used or posted videos, but it's been recommended a lot. It seems to have improved a little bit over the years in terms of design. It is a peer-to-peer type of a website, similar to BitChute. And the reason why I've never personally used it myself is that I felt because it's so similar to BitChute in a lot of ways that I never bothered making an account here. From what I can see, the content looked maybe a little bit less political, and it seems like it has some good variation. It doesn't appear that it lets you choose the video quality, but I mean, at least the videos are not blurry like in BitChute. But overall, I just wanted to mention it because it seemed decent enough. Next up, we have Storyfire. Storyfire was created by a popular YouTuber, McJuggernuggets, and the platform is supposed to consist of watching videos or reading written stories. There are some prominent creators on this platform, like McJuggernuggets, Drama Alert, Keemstar. It looks like a controversial YouTuber that was banned, Leafy, is also on the platform. And then you've got Boogie as well, although both of these users seem to have left the platform because it looks like they haven't posted here in a while. This is an alternative that is frequently mentioned, so I thought I'd feature it here. Overall, the platform looks decent in terms of the UI. My only real complaint here is that sometimes videos don't appear to load when I've tried playing them. I don't think that I find any of the creators on here that appealing. Not really a big fan of drama YouTube channels, but if you like these type of creators, this platform might be right for you. Now, there are some sites that were also mentioned frequently, and one of them was Vlare.tv, which actually no longer exists. And looking at their Twitter account, it looks like they were bought out by a new party. The Vlare project will continue. Join the Vlare Discord and keep your eyes here as we continue to update you on the progress. The vibe I got from this platform was that it was very similar to BitTube.tv. Another one that I should mention that I remember seeing early on was PewTube. I think the site itself was pew.tube. Again, it felt like it had a similar vibe to BitTube and BitChute. It seems to have dealt with a lot of the same issues that BitChute deals with as well, that it seems like it was attracting a lot of, again, Trump supporters, people on the alt-right. I mean, it seemed like it had a decent amount of monthly visitors, like 500,000, but it still failed to be sustainable. Although they did release NodeTube, which is the open source version of the PewTube code. So that's interesting. Now, of course, one alternative to YouTube that's existed for quite a while is Vimeo. And I thought I'd mention it. I used to post here for a while. If you've already got a big following, you can direct people to your videos here. And it has tools to sort of help you sell videos or sell access to videos. Kind of feels more like a video hosting platform rather than say something like a YouTube alternative. You are limited in terms of storage. So after like a certain amount of gigabytes worth of videos, you are required to pay. So it just didn't seem like a viable alternative. I mean, unless you have a big platform and you can get it so that it pays for itself. One interesting video platform that is not quite a YouTube alternative, it's more like a Patreon/YouTube hybrid, and that's Floatplane, made by people that run the popular Linus Tech Tips YouTube channel. And what you can find on this platform is a lot of popular content creators, especially tech YouTube channels. And it essentially allows users to support content creators directly. And, you know, it's assuming that they'll probably get more of the revenue compared to what they would get on YouTube. Affordable video platform that allows creators to diversify their revenue sources and connect with their audiences. So again, it's more like a Patreon/Vimeo for content creators, and a way for them to get a bit more personalized with their audience, and ideally is so that their audience can support the creators directly and keep more of the money. Another platform worth mentioning is Nebula. Nebula is an independent company that is creator owned and operated. Essentially, you pay $5 a month or $50 per year, and you know, you don't have any pre-roll ads, and they seem to have apps for iOS and Android. And the type of creators that you can find here are very curated content. So if you go to browse all the channels that are on here, you kind of get a good idea of the kind of content you can find. And you know, you get a somewhat diverse content. You know, there's some popular tech channels, there's some popular political channels, and it seems that they lean more to the left, just FYI. But overall, I like the diversity of the content creators that you can find here. The quality of the video seems pretty good. The pricing of the subscription is pretty reasonable. One other platform I want to make note of here is Gaia. Gaia seems to cater to a set of specific type of content. Topics you won't find in the mainstream, they say. The nature of the universe, ancient wisdom, the unexplained, alternative healing, and more. And I actually enjoy this type of content, this sort of very spiritual, new age type of content. You know, it's always interesting to get a unique perspective, and it seems like it's very high quality content and very well put together. Of course, you know, with alternative ideas like this, good to always keep an open mind, but also take a lot of the content on here with a grain of salt. But overall, it seems to be a very niche platform. The pricing seems a little bit more than I'd be willing to pay, but I think it's overall a decent model for funding. Okay, and then lastly, we have another sort of niche type of video platform, and that's Means TV. Means TV also seems to have a curated set of content creators. They seem to be high quality videos, you know, in terms of production value, like Gaia and Nebula. One cool thing about them is that they are a worker co-op. So if you're a creator on here, you have equity into the company. And ideally, you'd get paid more than other alternatives like YouTube. Based on what I've read recently, I think YouTube keeps 55% of revenue, and then the creators get 45% of revenue. So I would imagine it being a worker co-op, the creators would get a lot more piece of the pie here. They do start at $10 a month to subscribe, or you could do $110 per year for an annual subscription, which seems quite high. Not as high as Gaia, but definitely a lot more than Nebula, pretty much double the price. But again, if it means the creators get a lot more money compared to like Nebula or YouTube, then I'm all for it. Although if the $10 per month is a little bit too much for you, you can email or DM them with what is, including $0, and they can get you set up. No questions asked. So feel free to DM them if you're interested in checking Means TV out, and you can lower that monthly fee. The one downside of Means TV is that it seems to be very specific in terms of the content that you can find. You know, it's typically left-wing content and politics in general. You know, there's no like tech video channels on here. Although me personally, I do lean left. I don't know if I'd want to be in an echo chamber. You know, I like always challenging my ideas and questioning my beliefs. Like if I were to watch content on Gaia, for example, you know, very spiritual new age type of content, even if I don't agree with any of the conclusions, you know, get a different perspective. The two platforms that I think rise to the top are PeerTube and Odysee, formerly known as LBRY. Now, PeerTube, the reason why I like it is because the code that is running PeerTube sites is open source, and the PeerTube network is decentralized. So you can have different websites, like let's say peertube.social and tilvids.com, and they're built on the same platform, but are two different websites, and they even have their own set of rules. Ideally, these different sites would federate with each other, so even if you post on one site, you could enjoy content from another site. tilvids.com does it a little bit differently, whereas their plan is to federate only with PeerTube websites that have a more curated type of content, just so that viewers can get a good experience. But the other good thing about PeerTube websites is that they're typically entirely funded by the users. They're not private companies. They're just essentially like nonprofit communities. And so it feels like you have a lot more of a say, you know, on the particular communities that you're posting content in. And again, Tilvids is especially nice because you do get a lot of different types of content, and it seems to do a good job curating the type of videos you see. And of course, it's also privacy respecting. It uses peer-to-peer technology. And I think the biggest downside is that it doesn't offer any monetization for content creators. I mean, you can go to a video and support, and then you can see like links to like a Patreon or a LibraPay to fund the creators. But it would be nice actually if there was a subscription that you can just pay like a monthly fee, and that could be used to pay the content creators, maybe in terms of how many users are watching their content, although that'd have to be implemented in a way that respects users' privacy, if at all possible. But that would be the only downside I'd see, is that a lot of content creators, you know, they put in a lot of work to their content, and I know especially the bigger creators are going to want to be on a platform where they can earn some money. You know, it does make it somewhat easy to post videos from your YouTube to this platform. So like if you were to publish a video, you can import by copying the YouTube URL, which is nice. And now, of course, we got to talk about the big player here, and that is Odysee. Odysee does three things well. On one hand, if you're a YouTube creator looking to move to this platform, you can do that very easily. You can sign up, you can automatically sync your YouTube content onto the platform. And if you're a new user signing up on Odysee, you can usually import your most recent 1,000 videos, which is a lot. And then anytime you post on YouTube, it'll also post on Odysee. Sometimes it may take an hour or so or longer, but usually it's pretty quick. And so that is an important part. The fact that you can synchronize all your videos from YouTube to Odysee at a click of a few buttons is really valuable, and I don't think any other platform offers that ease of transitioning or moving your videos. The second thing it does well is that it does offer monetization for creators. Now, this may change in the future, but right now, especially with cryptocurrencies moving up in price. You definitely could be earning some significant amount of money here. That definitely helps give confidence to creators that want to get paid for their videos. The third thing it does well is that the content is pretty diverse. Now, a lot of people say that it still has too many sort of conspiratorial Trump supporters, right-wingers on the platform, and there seems to be a noticeable chunk. But I think overall it's very diverse, and certainly a lot more diverse than any of the other alternatives. There's a lot of tech channels, there's a lot of politics channels, and not just like right-wingers. There's also people that are very much on the left that are on here. And I think this is good because then watching content here, it doesn't feel like I'm in an echo chamber. It feels like I get a little taste of everything. And so I think that's a very good thing. The other cool thing is that the layout could always use improvements, but it seems like it's good enough. Quality of the videos are pretty good as well, although there's a caveat to that. When it copies the videos from YouTube, it usually keeps the original quality. That does mean that sometimes when you watch a video, it takes a little bit longer to load. There is some latency. For the most part, I feel like I've had a good experience watching content here. There doesn't appear to be a big downside to using Odysee for now, but would it be a good platform for content creators to earn money, in the future, again, after like a cryptocurrency crash or something like that? Odysee is a for-profit company, and they do have investors, and that can always be concerning. It's just something to keep in mind and keep a lookout for. Odysee has attracted a lot of creators, a lot of very mainstream creators onto the platform. So far, I feel like it's in the lead in terms of being a real YouTube replacement. As you can see, you have many different platforms to choose from, although it seems that most of these platforms cater to a very specific type of creators and users alike here. That may be the big takeaway here. Maybe there won't be one alternative to YouTube that completely replaces it. I think we're going to see multiple different platforms with their own specific communities rise up, and it'll have its benefits, but it'll also have its downsides. We kind of see something similar happening right now with other streaming services like Netflix, Disney Plus, HBO. They all seem to have some content on top of their exclusive original content. And so I see alternatives to YouTube going down the same path. And I still think YouTube will remain relevant for quite some time. I feel like some people are gonna just try their best to watch other creators on other platforms. But if there are creators that only post on YouTube, then we may still be watching on YouTube in addition to all these other alternatives. But let me know what you think. Do you see yourself leaving YouTube completely? Do any of these alternatives look promising to you? Let me know in the comments below. And if you like my video, please like, share, subscribe, and I will see you all next time.